My ladies, let's bring on stage the sisters, Zalli sisters, Detina and Argita. So ladies, Detina and Argita, if you are here, let me see your beautiful faces. Dr. Detina Zalli is the academic director of pre-medical studies course at the University of Cambridge, UK. She earned her PhD at the University of Leicester, and then she moved to Boston, where she carried out her postdoctoral research training at the Harvard School of Dental Medicine. And of course, later on, she studied a lot of other courses, and we are very excited that she has joined this masterclass together with her sister. She's also a doctor, PhD in immunology, and in the past 10 years, she has conducted medical research in the fields of immunology, and she has collaborated with top scientists, and those scientists also include Nobel Prize winner, and published her impacted research journals with top experts in the world. So over the past couple of years, Dr. Argita Zalli has focused on teaching on and training on university teaching staff in the Imperial College. So we have two twin sisters. Don't ask me who is who. Sometimes they get confused as well. If you have seen the latest front cover in the Global Woman magazine, they told me they really couldn't recognize who is who, because they had this photo shoot with a top photographer in New York who does all the front covers of top magazines in the world. And when they got the pictures, they were not able to recognize their faces, who is who, because they're identical twins. But they will share with us lots of secrets, what it takes for two sisters to support each other into such a journey. And it's a scientific journey, academic journey, a real life experience journey, and they are absolutely, truly high achievers. And the reason we decided to talk about this topic is because in our Global Women community, we are always outstanding for amazing women that we attract around the world with such a drive, with such a positive energy and desire to achieve amazing things in life. Because when women put their heart and their work and their determination into the amazing things that they want to create and build in the world, there is nothing can stop them. So I thought this is a great topic. We are at the end of the year, and we want to make sure that we explore all scientific ways that we need to tap into our highest potential, because we know, we are aware, we invest in our Global Women community. I have realized that women are absolutely, especially women in our community, that they are so conscious driven. And we are aware that we are the only creatures in this planet that we never reach our maximum potential. But how about we learn how to reach as much as we can? And that's a good news, because that tells that it's never a limit. Sky is a limit. And these sisters will tell us that, yes, it's true. There is no limit, because they came to this country as refugees, as teenagers, and now they are absolutely on fire, telling the world that no matter what, you can be a great mother, you can be a great daughter, you can follow your career, you can follow your dreams, you can do whatever you wanted to do and achieve your dreams, because it is possible. So Dr. Detina and Dr. Argita Zalli, welcome to Global Women Masterclass. We're very excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Mirela. It was so nice. You gave us a very nice introduction. Really appreciate that.
And you definitely, thank you, Argita. You definitely have kind of summarized the definition of thinking big and going global, but probably you have exceeded it a little bit, because as you know, as I know a little bit more about your dreams now, you're not only aspiring to reach global, you're aspiring to reach galactic, to reach NASA. And I want to talk all about that because it is possible. Whatever your mind conceives, you can achieve. So how about I start with the oldest one? Do you know who is the oldest and who is the youngest?
Yes, I'm the youngest. So the oldest is Argita, starts with an A. The first.
Argita, I would love to have Dr. Argita before your name.
Okay. Well,
If you can put a doctor before your name. And we are ready to start with Dr. Argita Zalli. And my first question for you, my darling, is when did you realize that you have a big dream? Because many times we hear this, dreams come true, but dreams come true only if you really dream. If you don't dream, there is no dream that can come true because it's not there. So when did you realize that you had a dream and you have a dream, and how big was that dream?
Well, actually, it was when I was actually 4 years old. On my 4th birthday, my grandfather gave me a stethoscope for my birthday, and I used to play with Detina as, you know, patient, doctor, kind of clinical scenarios. And it's been a dream that we kind of followed throughout our lives. But I think it starts from your roots, your family. My mother, she was the one that wanted us to be someone. She came from a very poor family in Albania. There were 5, she has 5 brothers and 4 sisters, so it was a big family of 10 kids. And she really suffered poverty like other people in Albania at the time. And you know, she saw hope in us, in myself and Detina. She wanted that to reflect that on our education, on our behavior, and she gave everything to make it true. And that's how it started. It starts with an education since a very early age, when you have very supportive parents to try to teach you and guide you in the right direction. But then, of course, it's instilled in you as well. Being 2 together with Detina, we always competed with one another when we were kids. You know, we were A-star students. I was better than Detina, I must say.
Not true. Some competition here, yeah?
I'm just joking.
It's a healthy competition.
Yes, but we always pushed one another. You know, we wanted to be someone because of where we came from. We had nothing, and when you come from nothing, you want to be someone, to have an impact. And obviously these dreams are, you know, come with big responsibilities, with passion, with hard work and dedication. And you know, our journey was a very difficult and complicated journey. It wasn't a journey of a typical teenager who studies hard, goes to school, get A-stars, and then goes to do a PhD or studies an undergraduate or goes to medical degree. It was much more complicated than that, because it involved our life as refugees. We came to England when we were 13 years old, and I don't know whether I should stop talking and let it carry on, or whether I should carry on. Well,
we have an expression: give women a mic, and then she doesn't stop. She doesn't give the mic away. But I know you are going to pass the mic on your sister, because you always have done that. You always back each other up. So Detina,
I was looking forward.
How do you remember your time coming here as teenagers, as refugees? You have a TED talk on that as well.
Yeah, I think the time was very difficult, to be honest. I think we felt a bit lost. We had this dream of England, of being in England where everything was perfect and everything, every problem was solved, when in reality, this was not the case. We started
talking to, we basically realized that we became adults. We became the parents of our parents at the age of 13, and we took over many responsibilities that teenagers don't typically take, such as, for example, we didn't have the papers to start in the UK. We didn't have anything. We had only an identification document that expired within 3 months. So after 3 months, that meant that we had to go back to Albania. But go where? We had nothing. We had sold everything. We had no money. My dad had, left the job. So that was not a solution. So we had to,
So you burned the bridges.
We had to, when you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. So this is what we did. We started talking with solicitors. We tried to learn the laws. We spoke with social services. We tried to find a way of making us stay in the UK. And that process took a lot of time, and it was quite stressful. And on top of that, we had to work because we had a lot of debts. So my parents had to give money back to the people who they had borrowed for our trip to the UK, which cost us $12,000, which at the time was a lot of money, and we didn't have any. So basically, it was quite stressful time. On top of that, of course, we had to start it. I think the fact that we were two helped us a lot because we supported one another. Sometimes you cannot do things alone. As we all know, even in business, even in life, collaboration is the key. You can be very smart, but one mind is not good enough. Many minds are the real power of a business or of a successful story. So this is what we did. So basically, we had to work very hard. Ups and downs, of course. Many times we didn't get what we wanted. We fall down. We lifted each other up. There was a period in the UK where we wanted to quit school because it was very difficult. We actually experienced a lot of bullying in the school as well. And but yeah, the fact that we supported each other, that we had one another, really helped us push each other further.
Oh, that's amazing. And Argita, you mentioned this concept, A-star student, and I use this a lot. I use it a lot with my team, with my clients. When we do our Global Women Business School, I always say, I am looking for that A-star student. And you know what it means? Tony Robbins uses this concept a lot. An A-star student, all they need is knowing that there is something called A-star. And that's it, full stop. The parents of the A-star student, they don't need to do any extra work. They don't need to ask their children, have you done your homework? Have you read that book? Have you done the exam? Are you going to the school? That's it. They've done their job. From the moment they know there is such thing called A-star, they will go and do not their best, but they do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, with no prize, no challenge, everything what it takes, they go and get that A-star. So so tell us, how do you remember that period where you had to go through all these challenges, and as Detina said, you had probably to become a parent of your parent and learn things that was not supposed for a child at your age to learn. But still, you didn't forget your job to get that A-star.
Yeah, well, that was instilled in us since a very early age. Education was our priority. And when you're in that situation, which we were for a long period of time, for 6 years, you just have to get on. There is no other option. The only option is to go ahead, do your best, and
Did you know enough English? Did you have the facilities or the conditions to study so it could support your A-star achievement?
Yeah. Well, I helped her, Mirela. She was behind quite a lot of time, so I usually took her with me and I trained her and I learned her. I taught her. I spent many hours teaching her, and there she is now. Even found her PhD.
Oh, wow. So tell us a little bit more. How does it feel when two sisters are twins and they both are aiming that A star. How did you help each other? How did you support each other?
I think when we came here initially, Argita was more confident than me. I was like, I think confidence is everything nowadays. So Argita was just writing, for example, when we had a homework to do, she was just writing, although she didn't know what she was writing. Sorry, Argita, but she was writing. And that made me feel, oh my God, she knows. And so then I started writing as much as I can.
Writing what?
Writing, for example, it was an essay that we had to do specifically, an essay on physiology. And this was a completely new topic for us. We had no prior knowledge. So we had to find out like how to best do the essay. And obviously, because we were twins, the teachers had a close look at us because obviously we shouldn't plagiarize, we shouldn't do the work together. It was completely two independent homeworks, but we were always used to work together. So what can we do in this case?
How did you manage that, not to copy each other?
We did, we still did it together, but we did two instead of one.
Okay, so that is working as a team then.
Yeah, working as a team.
And okay, how was that experience where, for example, you do two, but one gets an A star and the other gets a B? Did you ever had that experience?
We did have something similar, I have to say. So when one of the professors, he asked me, looking at me, he said, "Detina, can you please explain this concept to the class?" And I was about to be graded. And then I said to him, "I'm actually not Detina, I'm Argita." And he said to me again, "It doesn't matter who you are. I still really want you to do it." So I got up. I didn't know the lecture very well, to be honest. I didn't get the maximum.
So you pretended you are not you, but you were.
Yeah, but in the end, you need to be smart, like in business. In the end, I still won in a way because Argita got the bad grade. I was still untouched.
Yeah, but
so Argita, how did you feel when your sister pretended to be you and you got the bad grade? I
was crying because I never had a bad grade. You know, it was the first time that I got that grade. And I didn't even get it. And
so did you feel betrayed?
I felt betrayed for a few minutes because that's what twins do. And then the teacher didn't understand why I was crying. And he's like, "Why are you crying? She got the grade, not you." But of course, women support women. You know, my sister comes first. I never said anything. So,
is that because you are the eldest and Detina is younger than you? Probably had that feeling of protecting her?
Yeah, I think that's the case. I feel like sometimes I'm Detina's mom. So
wow.
not her sister, although I'm just like 5 minutes older than her. But we just look after one another a lot, and we're just, you know, chief for the we're one, we're a package.
Yes, you are a package, and as I know a little bit of your story, you also live close by, and you're very near each other. So just the 5 or 10 minutes apart.
Yeah, it's a
even where you live,
drive.
you decide consciously to live very closely to each other. So what does it mean to be apart from each other?
Oh, it's so nice sometimes. It is so nice sometimes, Mirela, because we're always together. So apart from the jokes, we really depend on each other. So even though we are distant physically, we're always communicating all the time. So we're always there for each other. We're always communicating. We're always sharing ideas. But, you know, sometimes it's good to have space, like you need to have your own space. Everybody needs in their life a little bit of space. Just for your own mental health as well, not because and I think Argita can say that as well, but being a twin, it is so such a special feeling and such a special bond that it is very difficult for people to understand unless you are really a twin themselves. We are both married, we both have kids, but our relationship is still as close as it's ever been. There hasn't never been a moment where we're like, okay, now that we're married, I have my life and you have your life. It's never been. It's been exactly the same, like the first, you know, like the early years.
Oh, amazing. And so you managed to finish college with A stars. and you went to university, and then you did masters, and you did PhDs, and you did postdocs. And tell us, how did that all happen, and how did you manage to go to the top universities in the world?
I think, you know, we had that vision since we were very young. We knew that this is where we want to be. We knew we wanted to be doctors, although initially we thought we wanted to be medical doctors. That wasn't the case. Afterwards, we became scientists, but we always ask ourselves, what next? So there's much more to life than just getting a degree or getting a PhD or a master's. You know, how can you make an impact? How can you make an impact to the society? And I know today we're talking about high achievers, and you always get this question about, oh, what are the characteristics of high achievers? What did you do to get there? And who inspires you? And a lot of people probably tell you some famous names of, you know, businessmen or famous people who are really inspiring. But to be honest, to me, being a higher achiever is not about how many degrees you get or, you know, how many businesses you have. I think each one of us is a higher achiever if we really think about life itself and life, what it means. Career is just one of these branches of life, but it's so much more to life than just career. Being a high achiever could be that you're an amazing mom, looking after kids full time. That is a very, you know, a totally different topic, but it's I think it's the most challenging job and the most successful job that a person can have. And yeah, so I was reflecting on this about, you know, today, and I just wanted to share this with people, because
Yeah,
I don't think it's fair to say that you know, you are a high achiever because you have, you know, X amount of degrees, or you've been to Harvard or Cambridge. Or I think each one of us, if we really think about it and if reflect within ourselves, are high achievers ourselves. And
well, you obviously are high achievers. Absolutely, I can tell that because I can see you. You definitely focus a lot on your vision. You make sure that you know what you want, and then you go after it. And you make sacrifices, which I would like to explore a little bit more, because coming here and sacrificing to start everything from scratch in a new country, it's incredible. And definitely I can see you also back up each other's strengths. Each of you have, yeah, beautiful talents and features, but in the same time, you are able to recognize what is your gift and what is your strength, and how, and having each other also, of course, I think has helped. And I would love to know more from both of you as high achievers. What is a daily routine, or what are the habits of high achievers? And of course,
Perhaps,
I can. Mhm.
so perhaps I can basically give an example of my typical day, which is quite it's become a usual typical day of mine, which means waking up very early, like 4 a.m. and starting work. And then obviously kids have to go to school from 7 a.m. and until 9 a.m. You convert from the job, from the professor to the mom. And then you make sure that the kids go to school, and then you come back, and then you work until 3 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock, the little dynamites, as I call them, come back home. So we spend time with them until we put them to sleep, eventually until like 8:30. And then we continue to work. So it's basically a lot of so one thing that I've always said to myself is I don't want to sacrifice my time as a mom because of my career. If I want to achieve something, if it is my dream, then it is fair on me to sacrifice my own time to achieve that dream, but not sacrifice the time with the kids, because they
How do you manage that time? Because you don't have just a degree, you have studied Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, you're collaborating with NASA experts, and you're writing research papers, and you're leading a pre-medical school at the Cambridge. So, and you have started your own little venture. So how do you do all of that? You just wrote your book, you have been TEDx, you have been traveling the world, you're still young woman. So how do you manage that time? Because as I said, I am surrounded by women in my community who are top high achievers. They run their own business. They are amazing women. But one of the biggest challenges that we bring when we discuss together is time.
Yeah.
And sometimes we feel overwhelmed as well because we want to do lots of things, but it's too much. So how do you, so is any science behind it that you can share?
I think you need to be very organized. You need to organize the time efficiently. For example, write it down from 10 to 11, book yourself. Like you book yourself for meetings. What are you going to do from 11 to 12? So being very organized is very efficient. And something else as well, if the desire to succeed is so big, time is not a problem. You will wake up. For example, Elon Musk works like 20 hours a day out of 24 hours. He finds a time. So if I want to achieve something, then if I wake at 4 a.m. in the morning, which I do, then I will have more time compared to other people if I start working early. So time is everything, because the more time you put into stuff, the more efficient you are, and you are working double compared to other people. So it puts you in advantage compared to the competition, if we put it that way. So I think, as I said, if the desire to succeed is so big, time is not an issue. And if you are organized, book yourself.
How many hours a day you work?
How many hours a day I work? I think I work about 14 hours a day.
14 hours a day. And Argita?
And not including the kids' time, because that's work time.
I got that.
That's work time. Trust me.
Too, because mothers sometimes they should consider that that is a work. This is a top priority work. But I got you. Yes. And Argita, how many hours a day you work?
To be honest, I haven't counted, but I
haven't calculated it. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't calculated it, but I just wanted to make a point on what Detina said, because she mentioned about being organized, which is one thing. But I think collaboration is key to success, because you can't do yourself, all the tasks. I think if you collaborate with someone else and split the tasks, it's much better, much more effective and efficient. I think communication with people is also key. Making good relationships and ensuring that you're on board and you have the same vision and passion. But I also just wanted to emphasize another thing, that it's a drawback, or it's a consequence. Of course, if you're passionate, you will achieve what you want to do, but it doesn't come without a consequence. We don't have much time for ourselves. It takes me, which is embarrassing to say, but I've tried to book a date night with my husband for the past 4 months and barely managed to make it happen last week. So you know what I mean? You don't have time, because you're a full-time mom, you're working full-time, you're working on other projects as well, you're trying to make an impact. And I think an advice that I'll give to myself, that I've been reflecting on as well, is look after yourself and take time off for yourself. What I've noticed is that when I don't take time for myself, and when I'm just on a work kind of mode, I'm less productive. So it's important to take regular breaks and look after yourselves, and sometimes working less is more. It's not about how many hours you work a day, it's about how productive you are, and how effective you are at what you're doing.
But as scientists as you are, I've interviewed lots of successful people, and most of them, what they have in common, they tell me that they work as a horse. And what I have realized, based on my observation of many interviews that I have been conducting around the world with high achievers, is like, if you want to survive, you just work 9 to 5, and that's it. You just survive. if you want to succeed, you work a little bit more, like a couple of hours extra. You are not the first person to leave the office. You stay a little bit more. But if you really want to thrive, you do not calculate the time, what time is it now, and I have to leave the office or go to. I mean, successful people, millionaires, multi-talented people, whatever they want to achieve, they work 24/7. But as women, of course, we should also, as you said, we should take care of ourselves, because we are mothers, we have kids, we have family responsibilities, and we are very famous on putting our priorities at the bottom. We take care of everybody, and then we think about ourselves. So I understand that. But what is, as a scientist, what is your point on being a workaholic?
I think, Mirela, something that I've seen to high achievers as well, and that I also see to myself, is really believing. I'm just going to give you a specific example. Before I applied to go to Harvard, I already had it in my mind that I was already at Harvard. I was so convinced Harvard was me and I was Harvard. It was already, nobody knew me at Harvard. Nobody knew my name. Nobody knew who I was. But I believed so much that the chances of failure were very little. But I didn't go to Harvard with the intention of, I definitely need this. I definitely need them to accept me to the university. I went to the Harvard with the belief that this is me. I want them to know me, and I will give the best try so that they know who I am and what work I do, irrespective of the results. To be honest with you, I didn't really care about the results, although this may feel like I really didn't. I just applied to Harvard for me, how good I was. So when you have that confidence, and when you are prepared, and when you are fearless, because you have to be fearless, and when you have such a big belief, all these components are a big part of success, and success is related to work. And work as a scientist or as an educator is not really work. It's like you said, it's like a passion. So you don't care how many hours you're working, because in the end of the day, you are living your dream while you're working. So it's the dreams that feed you. It's the dreams that give you, energy, that gives you, yes, I will do that, and I will do that, and I will do this project, and I will work with NASA. All these things, all these passions, and all these give you really big strength and determination. And that results in a work, long hours, which you don't really feel because you are living the dream.
Wow, yeah, I can see the comments in the chat as well. And I absolutely agree that it's the power of visualization, the power of determination, the power of the dream that we were talking at the beginning. You have a dream, and be careful what you wish, because you may see it come true. And this is what exactly you just showed us, Detina. So you went to Harvard, and Argita, at that time when Detina went to Harvard, you were studying which university?
So when Detina went to Harvard, she was doing her postdoc in Harvard. I was basically just graduated. We graduated roughly at the same time, a few months difference. And I was, soon after I graduated, I was looking for a job. So I had my PhD. Now the question was where did I want to go? So I just want to follow up on what Detina mentioned about, the power of visualization, which is one thing. But the other factor that I would add is creating opportunities and not limiting yourself to what's available. So I'm just going to give you the example of, me, a student, about 12 years ago, just graduated, got my PhD. It was very difficult to get a job at the time, also because, I wasn't experienced. I just got my degree. So now what? Where do I get a job? How do I apply? How can I convince these big universities that I'm worth it, that they should hire me? So I applied to many universities. I initially got some interviews. I thought the interviews went extremely well, and I got the job. Never got the job. Every time that I thought the interviews went well, there was someone else better than me. So what I did once is I just looked at one of the best professors in UK on the field of immunology. So I got his number and I called him. So I didn't email him. I just called him until I spoke to him. And I said, hi there, my name is Argita. I'm just a student. I just graduated. I want to work with you.
Oh, wow. What a courage. Yeah. Ladies, did you hear that? It takes courage.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So he invited me to Oxford and to give a presentation. So the week after, I just got my presentation, talked about my PhD, had an interview. It was like a proper interview. So I made myself have an interview without a job being advertised. And he was like, well, I'm going to apply for some funding for you so we can hire you, but you have to bear with me until we have to start the application. And I was very pleased with myself. And I was like, whoa, I cannot believe it. So this amazing professor, he just is going to apply for some funding for me. But luckily enough, at the time, I didn't have to wait a few months because I was hired by one of the top professors in UCL. So I chose to work in London instead. But it's that the courage to call people up, say, hey, I'm here, I exist, give me an opportunity and I'll prove you right, I'm worth it. So yeah,
obviously you just showed us another a characteristic of high achievers. The high achievers don't wait until other people offer opportunities to them. They go and grasp the opportunity, they create the opportunity, they make it happen. And that is exactly what we need to do, ladies, because nobody is coming to us to put opportunities to the table. Let's make sure that we create these opportunities.
As they
and
say,
I can see Detina is all the time saying, oh, why you're contradicting me? I can see this dynamic of siblings. So tell us, nobody, look, we're not going to share anything. So nobody is going to know if you tell us what happens when you fight. Do you fight sometime?
yes, we do. Of course we do. Yeah, I think people who say they will never fight, they lie. Of course we do. We fight sometimes. Usually it's it's me trying to do many things at a time, and Argita trying to calm me down. What are you doing? You need to consult with me.
Yes, she's the oldest. Yeah, you have to listen to her.
So I need to remember she's 5 minutes older. I'm used
Yes.
to, Mirela, something that I see myself, I'm used to breaking the rules and making the rules. I'm not really good at following the rules.
So you're the stubborn sister, yeah?
I am, but this making the rules has really helped me in my career. As you said, when you are
Okay, so tell us now, Gita just told us some of the characteristics of high achievers. Tell us, what are your main characteristics as a high achiever? What are those specific elements that have helped you to achieve high?
I think the first one is believing that you can do it. Belief is very important, because if we don't believe, then we don't start anything. The other thing is, obviously, you don't want to dream about, for example, being an astronaut if you are not an astronaut, or if you don't like science. You also need to make sure that you can have big dreams, but you have to have realistic dreams and goals. And yeah, determination that everything will work. Impossible, as they say, is nothing. So all these things, these are the ingredients of the success, I believe, because once you have this, nothing can stop you. Fear stops people. As I say to people, be fearless, be unstoppable.
That's so true. Wow. So you have just shared with us 4: believe in yourself, know what you want, determination, and be fearless.
Be fearless.
Okay, what are your 4 top talents for achieving high, Argita?
I think apart from dedication and commitment, which is number 1, I would say, and my passion that I have, it's all about communication. I think when you follow a career, you learn a lot about the importance of communication and collaboration with people, and I think that would be one of the features that I would rate the highest on my list. But also creating opportunities, as I previously mentioned, and do not limit yourself to what's available.
Yeah, that, the biggest limitation, where it is? Here in our
Yeah.
mind. We have a lot of limited beliefs that are conditioned from the past, from the way that we are raised, from the experience that we go through, from the challenges that we have to overcome. And all of these together, somehow, they make us or break us. So many people would use all of these challenges as an excuse. They would make themselves as a victim. Oh, I'm a refugee. Oh, I don't have this, or I don't have that. But in fact, what you did, you turn it into your advantage. I absolutely resonate with you, ladies, not only because I come from the same country. I came in this country with a teenager son, same age as yours. So when I moved here, I came here as a single mother. And of course, I had no idea what I was going to do and how I was going to find a place into this big world. But somehow we have something in common. We fight, we burn the bridges, and we don't accept a no for answer. This is what I can see you girls have in common, and probably lots of high achievers have in common. They don't accept a no for answers, because you can receive a no and another no and another no and another no and rejection after rejection. But you know what happens when you go through this experience? You do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again and again and again and again, and you do not stop until you have got what you're determined to get. And that is something that we should aspire if we really want something. And when I say if you really want something, it's not just, oh, I wish I could go to university. No, 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 no. It's like, do you really want it? Like Detina said, I saw myself at Harvard before I even knew how to get there. So you have to start seeing yourself walking on your future, and seeing yourself behaving, communicating, creating opportunities that already have arrived into your life before even you have done anything. And then, of course, you have to take some actions. And as I always say, think big. But you think big, but you start small. You have to always undertake calculated risks. And of course, we have to always make sure we take the risk. And if you remember, I mentioned a lot this concept of, yeah, you want to play safe, you don't want to take risk, you want to stay at home, we'll come and feed you. If you're scared of COVID, you don't want to get out of the house, don't worry, we'll bring you food, we'll feed you. But is that the life that you want to live? The life is out there taking risks. And even if you go wrong, you stand up again, and you try again, and you forgive yourself, and you forgive other people around you, because probably we'll create now an open forum, and we'll ask other ladies to bring some questions or feedback on not only based on this conversation, but of course based on other experiences as well, because another big factor is others. How do others relate in our journey? And I know in our previous conversations, you have brought your relationship with your mother, your parents. You have told me that they have been so supportive with you. And we need to create that support system where we feel down, we have somebody to come and say, don't give up yet, not yet. You haven't arrived yet, because many times we give up just before we arrive, probably because we don't see the land. We're so tired, and we say, I can't anymore. But if we have somebody to tell us, hey, just a little bit more, and you have reached your destination, you know what? You just mobilize your forces, all your internal and external forces, and you feel on fire again and you recharge yourself again. But we need that support system. I wish you have a wonderful evening. Thank you. I can see we still have the sisters here. Thank you so much, ladies. You have been amazing. You have inspired us a lot. And I can't wait to see you again soon and to start a new journey together.
Thank you so much, Mirela. Lovely to speak to you all.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.